With the Season 2 finale of Star vs. the Forces of Evil having already come and gone, it's made me think of a few things. Spoilers ahead for those of you who have not seen the Season 2 finale in its entirety. Because when Toffee takes over Ludo and starts draining everyone's magical powers away and gaining additional power from the magic he drains from everyone, it made me think of multiple different characters. Now you could argue that this is sort of making him into a overpowered Gary Stu character that can never be defeated and has no weaknesses, or whatever, but I trust the writers to have some way of making him interesting, threatening, and defeatable, even if things should go wrong in the beginning of the third season somehow. But it also reminds me of how this isn't necessarily an original idea. We've seen characters that take powers from heroes and gain those powers in other things before, like Sylar from Heroes, Alpha from Men in Black, Rogue from X-Men, Parasite from Superman, Amazo from Justice League, and T-Rex from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. So how exactly do we stop Toffee now that he has the ability to drain away magic powers, leave those he drains basically lifeless, possibly dead, I don't know exactly which, because they were revivable, gains power with each person that he drains. So how do you stop someone like this? Well, in many cases, stopping the character involved knowing everyone's weaknesses, because if you take someone's strengths and drain it from them, you're also taking their weaknesses. So therefore, when you drain a superhero's powers away, you also gain their special weaknesses. If you drain Superman's powers, you gain his weakness to kryptonite. If you drain Martian Manhunter's powers, you gain his weakness to fire, and so on. That's often the case with these power drainer type characters. The other thing that could happen would be maybe they take too much power and they kind of overload and overdo it. Or perhaps in the taking of everyone's powers, they might gain some kind of higher morality, realize what they're doing is wrong and feel guilty about it and decide to stop. Or maybe there is some kind of power that removes powers from people who have the power to steal powers, and you can just drain all the energy back and return it to the people who the powers originally belonged to. Or maybe the correct way to deal with Toffee now is through diplomacy and compromise. Talk to him, find out what he wants, and sort of meet him in the middle. Give him a little something that he wants, but also still get your way at the same time. It could also be possible that defeating Toffee is a matter of destroying his one true weakness. Perhaps destroying the crystal that is in the palm of his hand that was originally part of Star's wand. Or perhaps destroying the finger that he's coming after. Or maybe there's some other sacred object that, if destroyed, would make Toffee vulnerable. Or perhaps this is just a case of imprison him in some kind of unescapable prison, and he's not really defeated, he's just thrown into the Phantom Zone or some kind of large cage or dungeon or something wherein he cannot escape for a very long time. This also makes me wonder, does Toffee specifically possess Ludo, or does he possess anyone who holds his wand? Could holding Toffee's wand allow Toffee to possess the holder of the wand? Therefore, Toffee's spirit could be passed off of Ludo to other people in the story, maybe to Moon, maybe to Marco, maybe to Star. Who knows? There are so many possibilities with this. It could also be possible that the thing that would defeat Toffee could be Ludo himself. Perhaps using Ludo's newly introduced family, perhaps his brother Dennis or someone else, could be enough to make an emotional connection between Ludo and his family that he still cares about, so that Ludo could break free of being possessed by Toffee and regain control of his own body and use that power for good and force Toffee out of himself. It could be very possible that Marco could be the one to turn evil. After all, he was possessed by the same thing that possessed Ludo, and Marco both read Eclipse's chapter. The only difference is that Toffee possessed Ludo after Ludo read Eclipse's chapter. He didn't take over Marco when Marco did the same thing, because Glossaryth knew a spell to reverse what happened to Marco. But Marco could still possibly be taken over by Toffee because he's already read Eclipse's chapter. I also feel that since Moon took all of their remains with her, that she probably knows a way to restore the Magic Council members who were defeated by Toffee. So Moon might be able to restore Lakmith, Romulus, Omnitraxus, and Hekapu, and bring them back in time to fight for the middle half of Season 3, with the first half being a moment where they try to restore and rebuild. But it does lead me to wonder, how will Season 3 start? Will we have a new intro and new outro finally, since conditions have changed? Will we see Marco live on Muni for a couple of seasons and be the outsider going to a Muni school? Will we see the Magic Council members living their lives as mortals while they try to slowly regain their powers? Or will we see Marco and Jana and Jackie go after Star to try and get her back? Or will Marco just sort of resume his normal life without really knowing what's going on? Will Toffee come after Star, or will Toffee come after Marco? There's a lot of questions to figure out for next season, as well as how soon in Season 3 will we get Marco and Star back together. Obviously, something has to get them back together in order to have the series, but it would be interesting to see how long that takes. Could even be possible that we could have a Young Justice style time skip and go ahead a few years to when the characters are older, before they finally feel safe enough and powerful enough to reunite. And with Star gone from the picture, how will her friends act? What will Starfan 13 do without her favorite person around? Will she be worried about Star, or will she give up on Star and move on to someone else and change her name? Maybe we'll find out what her real name is now. Will Jackie stick by Marco's side and be a good girlfriend to him and keep him strong until Star gets back? Or will she realize that Marco and Star care about each other and she doesn't stand a chance, and she'll break up with him so that he'll be free to pursue interests with Star? Will Jackie and Kelly and Ponyhead fight to get their friend back? Or will they sort of hang around on Earth, helping Marco go on wacky adventures until Star comes back on her own? Will everyone have to get some dimensional scissors and go after Star? Or will Star manage to sort of get the all clear and return to Earth after she realizes that Toffee isn't pursuing her across Muni anymore? Or maybe she'll fight Toffee, defeat him, and then return to Earth, and then Toffee will return again at some later point. Anyhow, those are just some of my speculations. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. And yes, 4 seasons have been confirmed, with the 3rd starting in summer, which is very interesting because they did say in the episode that they would like to take a break for a few months and do nothing and then enjoy the summer. And what's happening? The series is taking a break for a few months while they do nothing, and when it comes back, it will be during the summer. So it's a very interesting setup for the concept of taking a hiatus, the way they put that line out there. And I've heard other TV shows do similar type lines. Anyhow, that's about all the thoughts I have for right now. Thank you for watching, and good night.